G'day fellas and welcome to a casted game. Spawning in on the east side of the map in the colour teal, playing as the Abbasid dynasty. We've got Valdemar 1902. It's never gonna get old. I'm gonna do it forever. You know what? Even if they fix the zoom, I'm still gonna just zoom like that. You know, I don't care anymore. This is how I zoom now. And on the west side of the map in the colour orange, playing as the Mongols, we've got Kiljadi. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Dry Arabia. We're here watching two players battle it out on the rank ladder. For anybody unfamiliar with either of these players, let me tell you right now, they're currently positioned in the top 10. That's right, even Valdemar has climbed all the way to the top 10. I remember casting this guy, the first cast we did, and just remembering back to the fact that he was so young, you know, such full of hope. He's been grinding. He's been grinding hard, and now finally, he's starting to see some real results. So I'm looking forward to, you know, the next S-tier tournament. Do we see him climb up the ladder, make his way all the way to the top, and then finally take the crown off Marine Lord? Probably not. Marine Lord's pretty good. He's been doing it for a long time as well, but already we've got ourselves a bit of action about to unfold. Behind the base of the enemy, Kiljadi picks up a couple of sheep, steals them away, and says, thank you, yoink. Meanwhile, back in his base, we've got a barracks beginning to come down. Already you can see that he's doing a little bit of exploring here with the Gur, taking advantage of the brand new buff to the Gur. Keep in mind the Gur now unpacks almost instantly. I think they changed it from 5 seconds to 1 second. That's pretty crazy when you consider just how fast it unpacks. So he's looking for sheep now. When he finds it, he'll unpack straight away so that the sheep converts. Then he'll switch it back over. Double production of the spears about to begin as well. And this gets scouted out by Valdemar. Valdemar knows what he's up to, and look at the sheep that Valdemar's got. We spoke a little bit earlier about stealing the sheep away from his enemy. Kiljadi having a good time. Well, I don't even think we really spoke about Valdemar. Take a look at this. Already, a huge amount of sheep following him. He's having a great time. Nice little scouting path as well. We'll ride back on board with him and see how he's doing, as the age up is imminently coming through. Now, the question is, what's the likelihood of trade? He hasn't found trade yet, at least on the enemy side, or at least on his side, but he sees the enemy, so he could look to go for it, but it's going to be the military wing. The military wing is really rising in popularity. We've seen players in top-level tournaments go for the military wing here. And part of the reason why is just because it allows you to defend so easily against any aggression, but it also means that you don't have to invest in that infrastructure early on. You don't have to make a barracks, you don't have to make a stable, you don't have to make an archery range. You can just go for the military wing and then straight away go into your second town center. And that's part of the reason why we see that's why we see it so successful. But already we have those spears out. 2 minutes, 54 seconds. So not going to be long before that age up comes through. I suspect he might lose the mining camp unless he brings out Vils to repair this. And I wouldn't be surprised if we do see more spears. Indeed, we do see more spears coming out from Kiljadi. The question's going to be, is there going to be a villager coming down for an outpost? And we've already got our answer. There it is. So the villager going to be throwing down an absolute banger of an outpost. Look at that. Between 3 rocks. I think there's only been one game where I've actually seen 4... It was double gold, double stone, and there was a single outpost that denied them all. But this is, when it comes to the quality of outposts, this is definitely up there, denying 3 resources away from the enemy, and importantly, stone. I think the big thing for me is how close is the timing on the military wing going to be, and whether it's going to be able to deny this outpost, because you can see this outpost is coming up. It takes 1 minute to build the outpost. So judging by this, can I get a zoom right now? The percentage on this one coming through. It's looking close to 75%, which means 15 seconds away. You've got a military wing up in 6 seconds. I think if he rushes this position, oh, because it comes out. Oh, it comes out of the, oh, no way, no way, no way. Oh, at point blank, look at this. It's going to get up. He's, oh, okay. You've heard it here first, folks. The military wing is overpowered. If that right there doesn't convince you that the military wing is actually amazing, nothing will. That is the most clutch thing I've ever seen. Mongol rushes are a thing of the past against the Abbasid dynasty. What in the hell? I wouldn't be surprised if you start seeing people placing the House of Wisdom in a way that allows them to counter that early aggression as well. Like, to me, I don't know exactly what's going on inside the mind of Valdemar right now, but it seems so intentional, right? It almost seemed like, oh, if you're going for an outpost, it's going to go down here, so I'll place my House of Wisdom here. I'm going military wing. I'll just pop everything out. We just witnessed the birth of a brand new, I don't even know, mechanic, dynamic, because it's always been a thing, right? The military wing, it spawns the units rather than the town center. It's treated as the quote-unquote shipment point for those units, but really that was insane. I am really impressed because that saves him so much pain, so much struggle. And even at this point, right, he's not even on these resources, but it means that he doesn't have to invest in a battering ram. It means he doesn't have to even think about going into these units unless he wants to. And that's the key difference, unless he wants to. And immediately goes over to the enemy side and now starts putting on aggression towards Kiljati. Now, one thing to note is that we do have a camel coming through, but there's no barracks, so he's not looking for the hardened upgrade early on. He's just going to be sticking it with the starting unit. So really nice commitment here. Age up will come through. It's going to be the deer stones now for Kiljati. And we do start to see it's going to be horseman production. So not even opting for the brand new Keshik unit. Obviously doesn't have the gold for it just yet. Quite a bit far away from the starting town center. And he's going to fall back just because Voldemar knows that there's probably units coming out soon. And we do see the hardened upgrade now going to be coming through for his spearmen. And the Khan on the way back. Looks like our first archer is out of the archery range, so we've got a total of 3 archers on the field now, and he does manage to take out a sheep carcass, so, you know, F you in particular. Horseman out, camel out. He's just looking to play one base for the moment. The military wing. Definitely this is a wing. That's for sure. This much can be said. It is a wing. But I'll be honest, I'm really liking the Abbasid now. It seems that the devs have done a great job in allowing players to have a choice in what wing they want. Very often, we've seen players go for the trade wing when trade is a good thing. We've seen them go for the eco wing when it's not. We've seen the military wing in matchups where you've got aggression early on. And we've seen the culture wing where I need to get to Castle Age quickly against the Holy Roman Empire. Every single wing has got a viable option for it now. And I love that. That's how it should be. And in the same token, we see Kiljati going for the deer stones, a landmark that was in the last patch. Almost completely unused. If there's trade on the map, there was a really good chance you went for the I was going to say the golden hedge. It's not called the golden hedge. I don't know where that came from. We've got the deer stones and we've got the dude. I tell you what, man, it's my old age. I'm not gonna try and remember what it's called. You guys know I know this. I know this, man. I'm a Mongol enjoyer. Don't make me go. I will literally go into the set. I'm gonna go check the tech tree and see what it's called. The deer. Here he is spawning in with the deer stones and the tech tree. I can't do it, dude. I can't do it. Where are they? Mongols. Silver tree! What was I calling it? The golden hedge? I can't do it, man. I'm sorry. If I'm casting a game, it's just gonna eat at me. I think is that the first time we've ever really broken the fourth wall like that? You know, I always like to kind of keep it consistent, but it's been happening a lot lately to me, and I don't know. I never really felt like my memory was going too much, and I still don't think it is. I think it's perfectly normal to forget things. You forget where you put your car keys. You forget where, you know, you lost something or anything like that. And you forget words as well all the time. You forget people's names. But I don't know. The consistency that I'm doing it's starting to be a bit concerning. Maybe I should speak to my GP about it. In Australia, that means general practitioner or just your doctor. It's the guy who doesn't have a specialty. But I mean, I guess you could say his specialty is general practice. But I don't know. Look, I'm not going to disparage doctors out there. They do good work and they get paid well for it. But in Australia, specialists get paid a lot more than the GPs. But anyway, I don't even know why I'm talking about that. Let's focus on the game. Let's take a look and see exactly what's going on for Voldemar. He's not even playing 2TC. Not even playing 2TC. He says, you know what? I'm just going to play the 1TC. We're going all the way. You want to play Mongols with your deer stones? That's absolutely fine. I'm just going to play Abbasid Dynasty. I'm not even going to go for a second TC, which is kind of wild. Got to be careful with this camel. What is this camel right now? I don't know if you guys saw it. It looked like he had roller skates on, skated all the way underneath the town center. A little bit aggressive right there. Loses his life, and it means that any cavalry that the enemy's got now is going to be free of that buff, or that debuff. And you can see that single camel now in queue for Voldemar immediately because he realizes he's lost it. But we've got the attack speed arrow now going to be coming off. Archers firing down on that back line. A single villager, never mind 2 villagers go down there. So he's lost a fair bit. But still the numbers for Voldemar looking pretty good. But keep in mind, Kiljati's got the reinforcement bonuses, and we can just hear those Abbasid voice lines just screaming and crying as they're dying. You hate to see it. You love to hear it, though. Outpost does get cancelled. A little bit of the Mongol response coming out there from Voldemar, just saying, well, you can throw an outpost against me, I can throw one down against you. Gur gets thrown up nice and deep inside this wood line. Wants to try and keep everything top secret. And Kiljati not really in a position to age up at this point. You can suspect he's going to be looking to go into that step redoubt as soon as he's got an option to. The power spike from getting that step redoubt is massive. If you've got 10 vils on gold, it's like you've got a 5 villager power spike. It's pretty big. Well, let's ride on board with Voldemar as he's got that second camel out now. Going to be looking to debuff any of those cavalry units as he comes around. Just sticking it with the basic unit combo for the most part, though. Archers, together with the horsemen, manages to pick off a villager. It's 4 apiece now that they've taken out, and Voldemar still has a villager lead of 4. I don't know where he's found it. I don't know how he's gotten it. You can see fresh food stuff still not in yet at this point. Outpost is up. Nice little holding position he's got. Going to be keeping these deer safe. Gold on the backside. Also going to get an outpost up over here. And we'll switch it over from the villager count over towards the income, so you can get a bit of an idea of what their plans are with regard to their economies. Kiljadi with a large bank of wood as well as a big income, so it could be looking for a second town center. I would say it's unlikely for Kiljadi to go for a second TC, just judging by his playstyle, but he does seem to have a lot of vills here. So he's going to throw down the pasture. Okay, wait, cancel the pasture? Is he going into archery ranges? No, just throwing them down on the Uber. Okay. I'm always trying to analyze exactly what the players are doing, and you can't help but feel like there's an element of history that you have to take into account. You know, Voldemar, I wouldn't say is particularly aggressive historically, and we do see the second town center will come out. Kiljadi has spent the resources that he had in queue, or in the bank, and we see a second archery range coming down, so looking to go into that. Now, let's talk a little bit about upgrades. We haven't seen any upgrades coming out from our Mongol side yet. Normally, you'd expect to see like a double broadaxe. Makes a lot of sense because you are going to be playing a heavier archer composition, but we don't see that coming out from Kiljadi. Don't see any wheelbarrow either, which obviously goes quite well with the Mongols. But I guess when you've got things like the deer stones, wheelbarrow becomes... I remember initially thinking that the wheelbarrow would be better with the deer stones, but it's not actually. The deer stones just... I mean, it's not that they cancel out each other, but you get mitigating returns on movement speed. Anyway, the battering ram will come through. Keep in mind, no siege engineering required here for Voldemar. He's playing the Abbasid dynasty. They do pick that up for free. And now going to be looking to idle out some of these villagers. We'll be able to find it as the battering ram begins to work down the front. And Kiljadi, I tell you what, he's definitely starting to feel the hurt right now. Voldemar playing the game the correct way now, really forcing the issue towards that side of the enemy. Now behind this, we see more and more cavalry units beginning to run in. They're going to meet each other on the front line. Archers teeing off towards the front. +1 ranged armor coming in through for Kiljadi now. He's already got the ranged attack, but you can see it's not going to matter too much as Voldemar, even though he's got no upgrades, still able to take that fight quite early on. And now Voldemar going to be looking for that second town center. So adding it in about the 12-minute mark. So definitely a little bit later than what we're normally used to seeing. And we can see that he's managing to trap the Gur here. Everybody trapped in together. He's working it down, even with the archers. Keep in mind, there's no ranged armor on the Gur when it's in this form. So he does lose it to the archers, together with the horsemen. And now that Uvu under pressure, Kiljadi going to be looking to try and hold a solid defense here. Should be able to find it. The archer numbers are quite safe under the pocket of the town center. It's got plenty of wood back here. Keep in mind, Dry Arabia, a map that's great for wood. Got that huge starting wood line. It always feels so nice, so safe. We're at the 13-minute mark, and he's still safe from all directions on this. I think he's only just chopped through now, maybe on this top side. But upgrades now starting to come through. We see the wheelbarrow upgrade for him at the 13-minute mark. Let's ride back on board with Voldemar, though, and see how he's doing as he throws it down even more production. This is going to be his 3rd stable. He's already got the double archery range out. Now, remember, it might seem weird that he's going so heavily on cavalry, but you've got to remember that when these fights are happening, the archers aren't the units that are dying typically. Normally, the units that are dying is going to be your front line. It's going to be your cavalry. It's going to be your spearmen. So normally we make more of those units because we're not going to have to replace our archers as much as we're going to have to replace our horsemen, as much as we're going to have to replace our spearmen. So that's why we're really seeing them getting pumped out now with the triple stable here. Now, I think the next question is Castle Age. What is the likelihood that we see Castle Age here? And I'm starting to suspect it's probably less likely. Let's check in on the other side as we do have the second town center coming down. This definitely points to a lack of Castle Age right now because both players... The reality is that we can see no units in queue at the moment for Kiljadi, so just going for some upgrades. But I guess the point I want to make is when you throw down that town center, you become immediately vulnerable to an attack, to a timing attack. So normally the thing that we would see players do is begin to make units after that. But Killjadi feels safe at this point in time. He spots out the gold from the enemy, sees that there's 5 vills on gold. At this point, you would expect a few more villages on gold if someone was going Castle Age. You'd probably expect closer to 7 or 8 vills on gold. So to me, that just says I'm getting upgrades. That's what that says. So Killjadi probably needs to be a bit careful at this point. Voldemar is still... He's still on the loose out there. And definitely a bit of a feudal age enjoyer playing as the Abbasid dynasty. So we'll have to watch and see exactly how the response comes from Killjadi as he begins to move into the Mongols' brand new unique unit. We've got the Kashik making an arrival. An expensive cavalry unit with high damage and a powerful charge attack. So very similar to the Knight. Keep in mind, the Mongols actually don't have access to the Knight or to the Lancer anymore. It is just the Kashik that they've got. So it replaces it. Replaces the Lancer the same way that the Longbowman replaces the Archer for the English. Let's check back in with Voldemar and see how he's doing as the Outpost has come up on the front. Gives him a good little bit of line of sight out here. And we can start to see those upgrades are coming through for him. Going to pick up the first one, Wheelbarrow, at 15 minutes. So a little bit of a delay on that upgrade coming in. And now heading towards that second tier of Golden Age. We'll check and see how far along he is with it. 28 out of 30, so shouldn't be too long until he hits it. There you go, 15 minutes and 54 seconds in. Looks for the unique upgrade as well. We see Boot Camp coming through for him. This is going to be giving him a little bit of extra health. Not a huge amount, especially because when you consider that archers don't really have that much health to begin with. 15% on 70%. It's not a whole lot. Like, you're talking maybe 10 health, 11 health, somewhere around that region. But it could be the difference between an attack or an archer surviving a volley and not surviving a volley from the enemy. So every little bit counts. And we can check in now and see how those numbers are starting to look. Where are the archers? There they are. So 80 health is the amount. A raid comes in. Both players looking to raid at the same time. And big raid coming over here for Voldemar now. Killjadi on the run. He's got that Yam network, remember. Together with the Wheelbarrow is going to give him that extra little bit of movement speed. And remember, by hitting that gold, it's going to delay any kind of age up that comes through. It's going to delay any further Kashyyyks. You've really got to avoid fighting against large masses of Kashyyyks. The longer these things are alive, the more they're going to be healing. And especially if you've got good micro at the high level, you're going to be able to keep your Kashyyyks alive for a lot longer. Because even if you kept one away on, say, 1 or 2 health, you can always pull it back and look to bring it in from another angle. Look to get it damaging. We can see that there's just attacks from all avenues right now. Voldemar doing a really decent job. Does manage to take out the Khan, and those archers are going to move out with their Yam network. The new Uvu gets placed down at 17 minutes. And Voldemar almost loses out on that. Still no ranged armor at this point. We're 17 minutes into this game in a feudal fight. More than 100 population at the moment for Voldemar, and still no ranged armor. He is technically getting it through, but still doesn't have it at this point, which is kind of unheard of. You see players rushing this at like the 6-minute mark, the 7-minute mark, that sort of thing. But Voldemar just going to ignore it up until now. Well, the masses continuing to build for him. We're seeing ranged attack now coming through. On the other side, siege engineering going to be coming in for Killjadi, so maybe looking to do a little bit of a death push here. Feudal Age. It's never looked better than right now. I can say that much. I mean, you know what? I kind of take it back. I think, was it Season 1 or Season 2? Back when we had, like, the Guz build, dude. Oh, my lord. Feudal Age was a real thing. But speaking of real threats, take a look at this. The archers just are able to repel all the horsemen right there? Excuse me? I don't think I've ever seen such strong and bold archers just in the face of the enemy. Said, come, I will fight you. Where are those Kashyyyks? Making their way around the edge of the map. No Khan to be seen. Obviously, the Khan did go down a little bit earlier. We'll ride on board with Killjadi just so we can get a bit of an idea on when that Khan will return. Because when he comes back, gives you that huge defensive bonus. If you need mobility to move into position, you've got that. If you need the attack speed, you've got that as well. Lots of good options for you with that Khan. He'll be coming up shortly. I can feel it. The vampire Khan. You know, this Mongol civilization is basically just a whole bunch of vampires at this point. You've got the Khan who returns back from the dead. You've got the Kashyyyk, which can heal on the blood of its enemies. This civilization is starting to concern me greatly. And at the same time attract me. If you're enjoying this video, please make sure you leave a like. If you're enjoying this Age of Empires 4 content, do leave a like as the new Khan has risen. The vampire. Is it the vampire? The vampire rises from the dead. It's not a vampire that rises from the dead, is it? It's a zombie. We've got zombies and vampires. Isn't that a game? I think that's a game. Oh, my lord. Huge raid over towards this east side right now. Voldemar, I think he was moving out to put down a mill. Indeed, he was. And he gets caught with his pants down right now. Does he have his textiles through? Doesn't have the textiles through either. Very, very tough spot for him. He's not even looking to mix in spearmen, despite going up against these units. So he's going to be very careful. But look at this, a little bit of a quick wall. Kiljadi trying to head down towards the south side. But he gets himself walled out. So now Voldemar's going to be able to pick himself up a couple more units. He's managed to take down one so far. That'll be a second one. He really wants to try and take these out without letting them get away, because if they do get away, they can always come back up and heal up. That's one thing to remember. More villagers. These guys are going to be finally making their way back out, but Kiljadi completely walled in on this north side. Or rather this east side, the north part of the base. And the horseman just going to be able to clean it up. He's completely outnumbered. Meanwhile, counterattack towards the front. Look at this. The Keshiks making their way into the base of the enemy. Double battering ram is here. So the longer that he forces the enemy's army over towards this east corner, the less time they have to react. Not the less time that they have to react, but he's got to make a decision, right? Do I check? Okay, he's done the right thing. Sends 3 horsemen to attack the Keshik, and then everybody else can come back. But he's putting on the hurt out here. Keep in mind this town center. It's not the main town center. It's got less health than everybody else. So he may potentially lose it. Needs to pull villagers to repair. We can see them coming down now. Voldemar up about 20 villagers at this point. Military's pretty even. The Abbasid dynasty starting to look stronger in the feudal age. The military wing. We've talked about it throughout this game. Definitely an incredibly strong option for these Abbasid players, now beginning to push through. The Keshiks on the front line as the attack speed arrows go off from the Khan, firing down towards the enemy. The battering rams still on almost 100% health at this point, just working down that town center. Voldemar really struggling at the moment. Needs to delete this mill in the front. He can barely get any any surface area for his cavalry, and now manages to make his way through. He's still trying to take out the battering rams at this point. Second round of villagers come through. These guys are going to help with the repair. He doesn't have a whole lot geez, I was going to say metal, a whole lot of wood in the bank right now, but you can see that he's just been overrun on this front. He's trying his best to hold it together, but the Keshiks are just too damn strong. Manages to jump more villagers inside the town center, going to help with a little bit of covering fire. But despite that difference in military pop, where Voldemar was up by a slight amount, we can see that Kiljadi has managed to overcome his enemy at this point. You can look at the difference between these two armies. And now Voldemar's got to head back to the drawing board. I think he needs to sacrifice this town center. You cannot allow this to remain up. He needs to rebuild back at home. But where does he even go from here? When it comes to resource income, it's not the best. And he's going to be losing more vills unless he manages to get them all out. But he's had a few losses during this fight. This gives Kiljadi a great opportunity. If he wants to go for Castle Age right now, he can. But to me, it just feels like he's just thinking about going for the kill. He can throw down a couple more battering rams, and indeed he does. 2 more battering rams going to be coming down now, with all that wood stocked up in the bank. And now Voldemar has to head back to the drawing board about the defense. It feels like to me, Voldemar probably needed to go for Castle Age a little bit sooner to get to Knights. Because those Keshiks were instrumental in taking out that front line. They held on for so damn long. Remember that the horseman really wants to try and get a surround. That's key, because the unit is a low-cost unit. So the more of them you have, the better. And the more of them you have, the more that you need to get that surface area across it. Compare that to the Keshik, which is a high-cost unit, or a higher-cost unit. It excels fighting in these areas where there's less surface area, because it means that there's more impact in the units that it's got connecting. Looks like Voldemar did go up to a 3rd TC. I didn't even realize this. The 3rd TC came out for Voldemar, so he's still going to be technically keeping up with Kiljadi. Villager count is holding for the moment. He's losing out the front of his base. Back towards the other side of the map, though. Big amounts of archers, or rather big amounts of wood gathering vills here, which is just to me signaling I'm just going to keep making archers. And you can see Kiljadi's just got the pedal to the metal. We've got horticulture coming through right now, but realistically, all that gold is going straight into Keshiks. He's got 3 more in the queue. And Voldemar is slowly building back up. You can see that population difference is starting to grow smaller. He's got the villager count behind this. He's working into those wood lines, so he can really look to spam out those archers. But remember the armor for the Keshiks. It's 4 ranged armor. Archers are only doing 6 damage. So they're doing 2 damage to those units. Compare that to the horsemen, where it's 3 damage. So 50% more damage from the enemy archers onto your cavalry than what you're doing. That's insane when you think about it. But now it looks like a battering ram will get cleaned up. Killjadi going to be coming through to the front. I can't help but feel like Voldemar needs to move into Spearman at this point. You got some of the best spears in the game. He's trying to fight up against the Keshiks on the front line. The attack speed going to be going off on the back. Manages to get a decent surround here. Exactly what he needs right now. He's got to be fighting up against this, but the enemy's got a decent number of spears out right now, and he's really struggling. I think this might be GG. Killjadi climbing up to 68 military population, and GG it is indeed, ladies and gentlemen. Just when the Abbasid were looking so strong, a turn of the tides happens. I don't know exactly what's happening right there at the end of the game, but fellas, go check out Voldemar. I'll leave a link in the description of where you can watch him live over on Twitch. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you leave a like, and we'll catch you guys in the next one. Thank you so much for watching.